Hey guys, my name is Sebastian. Welcome back to Instant Arma. This is the 5th episode of the Advanced Equipment for Arma 3 Developer Report, and I want to tell you all the latest changes we have made for the upcoming update of 0.5.2. In this update we have some nice little new features for you. Also there are some changes you need to know about because they changed the way how you can create your missions, and some changes also need to modify your existing missions, so you should really watch this episode. And I want to start immediately to show you the new features. First of all, there's a new language. So if you are in Arma 3, you can change the game's default language to French, or as French people say, français. So voila. You not only can use French now as a localization option, but you also have the option to change the default keyboard layout to a French keyboard layout. For this you go to the add-on options and to Advanced Equipment 3 main, no, Arma OS. And there you have it. Now there's a third option, not only US or German keyboard layout, but also French layout. French keyboard layout is a little bit weird, so some mixed up characters, so I keep the German layout. So, okay. The next thing is that we introduce some new modules you can access now. If you go to the asset browser on the right hand side and activate the filter to only show modules of the Advanced Equipment mod, you will see that there are some new modules. First of all, there is a security commands module and a games module. What do these modules do? I will show you that. First, we need a laptop, advanced equipment. Some other things I need to mention. We changed the way how we organize these assets. In the last update, we only had every item once, like the laptop only existed in this beige or sand colored variant, but you could change the laptop's color or texture by right-clicking and selecting, changing the texture like you could do on some vehicles. But this led to various problems, so we decided to handle it the way like the most mods or Arma Vanilla is handling texture variants, simply by creating multiple variants that you can directly access in the asset browser. So every advanced equipment item, which is always a copy of the vanilla item, is presented 3 times, or how often the texture variants are available, mostly in black, olive and sand, but there are some others too. So we need a laptop, so I can show you the new modules, and there's the security commands module. In the last update we introduced 2 new commands, crypto and crack, but we decided that it's from a mission creating perspective not a very good idea to allow these commands to be present on every computer or laptop that is in your mission. So we decided that when you place a normal advanced equipment laptop, that these commands are not available on this laptop, and if the mission creator, the mission maker, wants to add these commands to the laptop, he needs to sync this module to the laptop, and inside the module he can also decide which of these commands is available by checking or unchecking these checkboxes. So if you leave it like that, only the crypto command is available, but not the crack command. I will show you that in a minute. The other new interesting module is this one, Add Games. Yes, we decided to add the ability to create your own casual games for Arma OS, some kind of retro 8-bit computing games. Unfortunately, for now, there's only one additional game that is added by this module, the game Snake. I think everyone knows about it and knows how to play it. I will show you that. This module hasn't any additional options because it's only one game. In the future, perhaps you can decide which games should be available and which not. So let's have a look at these changes for now by adding some player. So I always like to use the competitor. So play. And let's access the laptop. At the moment I have the debug mode enabled, so starting the laptop is quite quicker than usual, so keep that in mind. And as always, laptop, turn on laptop. So you see this only takes 3 seconds. If the debug mode is disabled, I think it's 10 or 15 seconds. So first change here, we had a bug that led to some kind of delay if you started the laptop and immediately after that try to access the laptop. The Arma OS option here delayed by some 3 or 5 seconds, and we fixed that. So after you started the laptop, this immediately shows up. And you see it's not on the top but more on the bottom of this menu, so keep in mind to look down, and it's no more up here but down here. So we can use now Arma OS, and you see one of the big changes we made, there is a new design, a new layout of Arma OS. So you don't have these buttons. You don't have these buttons anymore that were shown up on the bottom of the window. The one button was the close button. The other one was the button to change keyboard layout. These buttons are now on the top of the window. So this is a close button. You see, I can close the window. And this button is the button to change keyboard layout. We stay on German keyboard layout, but there are 2 additional options. We already introduced the battery level indicator in the last update, but now you can click on it and you get a hint, a message that tells you the exactly value of remaining battery power. And the most important button to change the terminal design can be found here, indicated by this color containing bucket. And if you click on it, you can change between 4 available designs. This is the default design. You can see it on the laptop in the background. It is similar to what you see on the texture on the laptop. The other ones are imitating some old computer styles, like this one. It's the Commodore 64 or C64 colors. This one is monochrome, monochrome not in all cases, but mainly monochrome green, like I don't know, like Matrix or something like that. And this is amber. No, the green is the Apple II had a green monochrome display a very long time ago. And we have an amber variant. I like this the most. It's most pleasant for your eyes, but perhaps everyone decides to use a layout, use a design that he likes most. If you have any suggestions to add new designs, feel free to contact me or contact us via Steam Workshop, GitHub, or via Discord. All the links you will find in the video description below. So let's log in and test the new modules I already introduced. So as with debug mode enabled, you can enter whatever you want. Every login will be valid. So we logged in as admin, and now we try to use the crypto and crack commands. And keep in mind, I unchecked crack, so only the crypto command should be available. Crypto, yes, it's available, but we missed some command options, and now I try to use crack, and the terminal says this command isn't available. So you see, you can modify with this module which commands are available. This is a very important thing you should keep in mind if you already created missions using the advanced equipment mod. If there are these commands necessary, you should add this module to the laptops that need these commands. Otherwise, they won't be available anymore after you update to 0.5.2. Also, you see some kind of changed output if you are missing the necessary options for a command. You see, you get detailed information which options are missing. In this case, for example, the mode and the key option. We completely rewrite the way we process options and arguments to commands, and embedded this for all existing commands. This is a very background stuff, but if you are creating your own commands, you can use this functionality, this I would say framework. GetOpts is the name of that, and you will find a detailed description on our GitHub wiki page on how to implement this in your own commands, so you can get use of how to process options and give them short variants and long variants and make them optional or mandatory and all these things, so you can focus on the main purpose of your commands and don't need to fiddle with processing if some options are given to you or not. One major advantage is there for every user with GetOpts introduced in this version of advanced equipment. Every command gets automatically a help option, so you can always type in this case crypto -h or --help. I need to write the correct command, -help. Oh boy. Crypto, there you get it. And the help option is available for every command and tells you two different and very important things. First of all, what's the available and valid syntax you have to use. That's at the top here. So it says the crypto command has some options, and options are mandatory. If they are optional, these options, they are enclosed in these brackets, in this bracket you see here. After you use the required options, there needs to be a message. If the message would be optional, there also would be these brackets. The 3 points indicate that there could be multiple messages with a space delimiter. This indicates in other commands, for example, in the ls command, ls-h, indicates that you can not only list one directory or the contents of one directory, but of multiple directories, and they are listed one after each other. It's very important to look at the syntax if you get any error messages that indicate that you have done something wrong and you have a syntax mismatch. Also, you get a list of all available options and if they are required or not and how to use them. For example, in this case, there is a mode option and the mode option is required, and the mode option needs to, there you need to decide if the mode is encrypt or decrypt. So with this pipe symbol, it's indicating a list of available arguments that you need to provide with the mode option. Also, you see that the algorithm command, the algorithm option is not required, not mandatory, because it defaults to the Caesar encryption, and therefore it's not mandatory. Later, if we embed additional algorithms, then you have the option to change it to another one, but it always defaults to Caesar now, so you don't need to always define to use the algorithm Caesar. And of course, always at the end, it says that you can use the -h or -help option to print exactly this page, this help page. Yes. So another thing we added is games. We already synced the games feature, and now with syncing the games module, we have a snake game embedded in Arma OS. You hear this neat sound, this neat 8-bit sound, and you know how to play Snake. You need to eat these green squares, and with every square that you eat, the snake becomes longer and longer and crawls faster and faster on the screen. The game has 2 options. The default option is this one, and there's an option to increase the pixel size. So the pixel size is doubled. For some people, it's easier to see or to play with bigger pixels. It's a very simple implementation, and I would say only a proof of concept on how to use this method. I introduced some functions to kind of create and directly access individual pixels and change their color, and this could be used to implement some other easy 8-bit era 70s games like, I don't know, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, or whatever you want. You see the snake is now a little bit longer and crawls a lot faster. So, and if you bite yourself or collide, with the border, the game is over and presents you some statistics, the snake's length, the level you reached, and the overall duration you played. So I think if your mission has its length and players are bored, they have always the opportunity to play Snake. Yes, and I hope in the future there will be additional games made by us or made by interested mission makers or other developers, so the catalog grows, so to say. Yes, I need to have a look on the other side to see what other new features we can show you. So therefore I will jump back to the Eden editor. Yes, and with the laptop in the center of our mod and our scene, there are some other options. You know that we can connect multiple advanced equipment assets to each other, either to provide power, so create power connections, or to provide network connections. And till version 0.5.1 you needed to create these connections in-game by accessing the assets via the ACE interaction menu and creating connections. And now we added the ability to create these connections already in the mission in the Eden editor. So for that I need to add some more assets. Advanced equipment, no, there we go. For example, I'm adding a black router to create a network connection, and I add a battery pack in olive. So, and now you are able to create connections via right button mouse click menu and connect. And there you see you can now create either network connections or power connections. And you see the direction you create, the direction you choose to create this connection is important. So you need to connect a device to a router, or you need to connect a device to a power source. And if you create these connections, they are always checked if they are valid or not. So I would be able to say connect device to network router. There you go, and you see the connection color is differently from the color that is used by modules, the normal sync method. And I can connect to a power source, this battery pack, and you see this also another color indicating these are power connections and these are network connections. These colors are taken from our logo of the advanced equipment mod, so you know what they mean. Main purpose is that you know which line provides which kind of access. So these lines are checked, and if you try to connect something that you can't connect, so for example if you try to network connect the battery to the router, you get immediately a message saying this connection type is not allowed for this combination of assets, and the connection will be removed immediately. So you can predefine your connections, and you can be sure that all connections that you can create are also valid and working when you are in game. They are saved, and if you reload your mission, they are still there. So it's easy to create your setup as a mission maker and do not have to create these connections in-game. So I hope this helps a lot to get your missions predefined. I know there are a lot of people asking when we will provide support for Zeus, and yes, I know at the moment it's not possible to place our assets via in Zeus mode, and it's part of our agenda, but takes some time, so please be patient. Zeus support will be coming in the future. I hope in the near future, but in the future. So what's next? I would say I will introduce the biggest change made in this update. Great thanks to Wasserstoff, or German hydrogen is an alternative to his name. Wasserstoff created the flash drive, the USB stick that can be accessed in-game. You can store files on it, you can plug it into a computer, move files around, and take your files with you. And with that, I think we can create a complete new gameplay possibilities. So I think it's the most important new feature in this update, and I will show you how to use it. For that, I will create 2 independent sticks, and I will add some files to our laptop, so we have something to mess around with. So this file should be called example 1, and the next file is example 2. And let's perhaps create 3 independent files. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there we go. Let's jump right into this mission. So as always, we need to start the laptop. Laptop, turn on. And now we pick up stick number 1, stick number 2. And if we look into the inventory, you see these sticks are they show up independently, like for example, if like the TIFA radios also show up independently and contain individual numbers. The numbers indicate that this specific item is unique, so you always know your file is on flash drive 1 and not on flash drive 2, for example, and you want to give flash drive 1 to the next player or something like that, so you can distinguish between them. That's what I want to say. Distinguish. So let's put the first flash drive into the laptop, and if you have flash drives or USB sticks in your inventory, in the player's inventory, you get a new menu, connect flash drive, and you can decide in which USB port you want to put this flash drive. The laptop has 2 of them, so you can decide either to put flash drive into USB port 0 or 1, and then you can decide which flash drive you want to put in there. We put flash drive 1 in USB port 0, and there you see it, the flash drive sticking, showing out of the port, sticking in the USB port, and the other flash drive we will put to the other port. So there you see it. So 2 USB sticks, 2 flash drives, in the laptop. And now if you access Arma OS, you need to log in as always. And now how to access these USB sticks, you need to mount them. First of all, you can type the command ls USB. This command tells you in which port is a flash drive. If we only had put one flash drive in one port, then you would see that there's only one flash drive listed with this command. And now you can use the mount command, mount, followed by, there's a syntax, followed by the name of the device. So USB 0 should be the first one. And now if you use the ls command, you see the flash drive is mounted, and you now find the mounted file system in the MNT subdirectory. It's usual on Linux to mount new file systems there. So you go to cd MNT, and there you see is a new file system, and you can change in there USB 0. So, but there's nothing in there, but we can copy things here, and we know we added 3 files. So you can copy or move files now from and to the USB stick, and with that we introduce this new command cp. We hadn't CP support prior to this update, so now it's able to copy files CP, and you can see here syntax is CP source and destination. So the source is tmp new example1 txt. This is our source, and we want to copy it right here in this directory, but it should have a new name. x1 txt should be the new name. And now if you type ls or ls -l for long form, you see here's our file, and now we can access this file like printing its content x1 txt. Oh, I would say yes, mistype, x1 is the name, not x1. And there's content, lorem ipsum dolus sit amet. Yeah, that's the cp command. We can also use the move command. So I use the history and change cp to mv, and we move example2 and rename it while moving. So there you have it. And now we have both files, and like I said earlier, we can process multiple files with some commands, and the cat command is one of them. So we can use cat x1 and x1 txt and x2 txt, and it will now process both files, so outputting contents of both files. Both files have the same file content, so nothing unusual there, but there you have it. And we use the move command, so if we ls tmp new, there should be one file missing because example2 was moved to our USB stick. And now we can unmount. The unmount command misses the N, so it's only called umount on Linux. Umount USB 0. And if we now type ls USB, You see it's no more mounted, and you could now mount the other drive. You can mount both, no problem there. And you can pull the USB sticks out of the ports. You don't need to unmount the sticks prior to or before you pull the sticks. They become automatically unmounted if you pull them out of the laptop. So now I have in my inventory one stick flash drive 1 containing 2 files and one stick flash drive 2 containing no files. So I think that's all we need to know about the USB sticks. One thing you should keep in mind, and therefore I attach flash drive 1 again and use Arma OS. I will go on exit, and now I will log in with another user. Keep in mind I'm in the debug mode. I can use every user I want, and this user is called test. So if I mount a flash drive, in this case mount USB 1, and access it, cd mnt USB 1 ls-l, you see the owner of the file is now test. So the behavior is that always the user that mounts a USB drive becomes the owner of every file of the USB stick. So this changes every time another user will access this USB stick. Now it's test because I'm the test user. Prior to that, before that, it was the admin user. So you can always be sure if you are the one who mounts the USB stick, you can access all files on it. So that I wanted to mention. To do this, we also introduced a new command, the change owner command, or CHOWN. With this command, you can change files to a new owner, but only if you're allowed to. So for that, we become the root user who's allowed to do everything. And I will change to tmp new. And you see there are 2 files, but only one is owned by root, the other one is owned by test. And if I now want to change the owner of these files, I can do that with the change own command. So let's have a look into the syntax, the options. We can leave it. We need to provide a path and the new owner, so we can change own. For example, the first file, example1.txt, and the new owner should be admin. And now if I list the files, you can see the owner is no more test like here, but now it's admin. So with that you can change the owner of files, and you can do this recursively. So I think it will also work on complete directory trees. So that's another new feature. Also, because as I worked on the new GetOps framework, I added some new options to existing commands. For example, I added to the echo command echo minus help, you see the echo command is now able to interpret backslash escapes. You know, when you use \n, this means something like a new line. And now you can do that with the echo command. Echo line 1, line 2 would produce only one line, but echo minus E, and now I would use \n. Oh, I think there's still something not working. This is Sebastian from the future. I fixed the command, so now you can use it. Echo minus E line 1 \n line 2 \n line 3, for example. And there you have it. You can insert line breaks as much as you want. So for example, we can add more lines here, and this command will produce line breaks, but only if the toggle is set, so the option minus E is set. Otherwise, everything is treated as one single line of text. So now back to my previous me, where we are, example 1 txt, but we can also echo minus n. Oh, this option doesn't work either. Don't know what I have done. And it's me again from the future. If you use the right command, the cat command, you can use -n for numbered output, and then you will get numbered output lines. And you can do this for multiple files at a time. Each file gets its own numbered output lines starting at 0. And back to my previous me. Another option or new options are within the history command. The history command, you know, with the history command you get a list of all commands you typed in, and it's also used this information if you use the up and down arrow keys, so you can access previous commands that you typed in. We changed in this update the behavior, so the history is user dependent. In version 0.5.1 the history wasn't user dependent, but for all users together. So every user could see the commands that another user typed in, but now it's user dependent. And we also added options. One option is to clear the history. So the history is completely empty, so no one could see if he has your user credentials with which commands you used earlier. But you can also delete only distinguished line numbers from out the history. So for example, if I want to delete line number 10, I can type history minus d equals 10, and this should delete element number 10. And we can have a look at history. Number 10 was echo minus E line 1 space \n space line 2. And we see it's no more there. Let's scroll. The last line before 9 was with no spaces, and then cat minus h, and there it is. But oops, but we deleted line number 10, so we get rid of that. It's very useful if you accidentally typed in passwords and you want to remove them from the history, you can use that, or we can clear the complete history. History -C for clear. And now if we type history, there's only our recent command we typed in history and nothing else. Everything, the complete history was deleted. So what have we next? We added or have rewritten the interaction restrictions. Interaction restrictions means that if some devices are, for example, connected to each other, like if we connect this laptop to the router, then we can't move this laptop around. You see the option for carrying the laptop isn't available. We need to disconnect the laptop first, disconnect from router, and now we can carry the laptop around. These kind of restrictions would affect carrying, dragging, putting in vehicles storage and something like that, and it's not these options are not available if you have a power connection, a network connection, if somebody uses a device or it's currently running, like the generator, and we've completely rewritten that, so you can be sure that if something is in use, it's not possible to move it around or put it in the ACE cargo or something like that. So you first need to disconnect everything and then you can move it around. So that's completely rewritten and should work as expected on all advanced equipment assets. There's also another change we made, therefore I will go back to the Eden editor. We added custom attributes. They are only available for equipment where it makes sense. For example, you now have a power slider for the battery pack. With this slider you can decide how much power the battery pack has on mission start. So you can decide to make it completely empty or full or anything in between. And with that level of power, the mission starts. And the same works for the generator or any other power devices, like let's say the solar panel has a power slider, but this one defaults to be empty on mission start. And another one is the battery pack, the laptop itself. The laptop also has a power slider, and the portable generator has a fuel level slider. With that you can define as a mission creator how much fuel the generator has on mission start. Here's another big change that would impact your existing missions. We needed to change the generator. It's now kind of a vehicle, so you won't find the generator under these props category, but under Blue 4. We needed to make this change, unfortunately, but there were various bugs we could only get rid of if we made this change. So please check your existing missions and replace the generator with this one. I think if you open an old mission, there will be error messages telling you that some assets doesn't exist anymore or something like that. Another neat feature we added is that you now can use the laptop if the laptop is placed on a desk, for example, and you sit on a chair right in front of it. So let's place a desk. It's not necessary that there's a desk, but we need some kind of chair we can sit on. I never know in which direction the chair should show, but let's place a laptop here. And until version 0.5.1, it wasn't able to access a laptop if you are in the sitting position, but now it's possible, and I will show you that. I hope the chair is in the correct direction, but I think no, it needs to be this way around. Let's test it. So sit down. Yes, it's correct. And now we can access the laptop. We can turn it on. And we can start Arma OS. So now you can work comfortably in a sitting position, no back pain or anything. Very, very easy. Another thing we fixed, it's more of a bug fix. I don't think I need to show you that. There are some things that use a progress bar, and we never really checked if someone cancels the progress bar. If the progress bar runs, you can always press escape and stop what you originally tried to do. But now we check that, and if you cancel the progress, then the complete action is cancelled, and it's like you never have triggered that function. So progress bar cancellation now works as intended. And another change we made is the default IP address to routers. Now they have the very common IP address 192.168. No, sorry, no. Once again, 192.168.0.1 as the default IP address that everybody knows from his home router, and not the weird one we used earlier. So I would say I've covered everything. Let's have a final look on my changelog. No, that's it for today. I've covered everything, so I hope you enjoy the upcoming update of the advanced equipment mod for Arma 3 in version 0.5.2. The bugs you've seen in this episode will be fixed prior to this release. And yes, if you are interested in becoming a contributor, want to support us, feel free to contact us via the comment section in the Steam workshop or via GitHub or Discord. All links you will find in the description below. So thank you very much for all your interest and support, and till then, bye bye.